independent. Better recognize I'm a king's descendant. If it wish to end us, then I bring the vengeance. You can't buy me with your rings of pendants, cause I'm independent. Better recognize I'm a king's descendant. If it wish to end us, then I bring the vengeance. You can't buy me with your rings of pendants. DIY gang, 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 DIY gang.
Hello and welcome to the DIY Gang Guide. I'm Shao, but you should know that already. Now today we're going to talk about criticism and why, surprisingly, it's actually very important to your artistic process and your growth as an artist. We've previously spoken about other people's opinions and taking them with a grain of salt, analysing where they're coming from, who is giving the opinion, etc, etc. And so I want to add on to that with criticism and why I believe in some ways constructive negative criticism can actually be better for you in the long run than pure positive criticism. Now take it like this. If people around you are consistently telling you that your music's great, you're amazing, you don't have to do anything to change it, you may not feel that drive or that motivation to actually better yourself as an artist. Whereas if you are getting criticized and being told, okay, this isn't right with what you're doing and that isn't right with what you're doing, if you're the right sort of person and if you've got that strength of character, you're going to build on yourself and work on your weaknesses, which I think is incredibly important. So to start off with, as an artist, you've got to have an incredibly thick skin. You know, you can't take these things to heart. If somebody says something negative about you, whether that be about your music or about yourself or whatever you do, I think that you should have the strength of character to be able to take that on board, to be able to hear it, but not let it sit in your chest and ruin your day, ruin your mood, etc, etc. And that takes some practice. It takes some work to be able to hear potentially bad things about yourself and to be able to analyze it for what it is, information. And information is power, you know, knowledge is power. So the more that you know about yourself, about your character, about your own weaknesses, the more you can improve and strengthen yourself. And I think that's, you know, that's a life lesson, not just for music. On your musical journey, you're going to come across people with many different criticisms for different reasons. You know, it may be as simple as, oh, you're shit. It may be as deep as, I don't like your music because. Now, I think that the former, you can disregard that to a degree because that's somebody's opinion. Now, opinions are not necessarily fact. And keeping that in mind can help you when it comes to hearing bad things about yourself. Now, don't hide behind that. Don't allow it to cloud your view and think, oh, well, I'm not going to listen to you because it's just your opinion. Listen to it, but bearing in mind that if somebody doesn't like your music for whatever reason, that is their opinion. And that doesn't mean that nobody will like your music or what you do. That is one person's opinion. Now, if the majority view aligns with that person's opinion, then you need to start thinking seriously about what it is they're saying and whether there is some truth in what they're saying. So starting off, somebody says your music's shit. Okay, cool. You don't like it. That's what you need to bear in mind for yourself. Then you need to start thinking, okay, why do you not like my music? If it's as simple as you don't like it, there's not much you can do about that. You can't force everybody to like what you do. If, however, in the case of me, for instance, as an example, somebody may not like my music because I rap too fast. That's something I can listen to and bear in mind. I can analyze that very critically and think, okay, why do I rap fast? Well, I like rapping fast. I like rappers who rap fast. It's something I enjoy doing. I know a lot of my fan base like that. However, not everybody likes that. And I may be alienating certain people and certain groups of people by rapping too fast. So maybe I should slow it down a little bit. Maybe I should have some slower songs, some more mellow songs that people are able to relate to alongside with what I'm doing with the fast stuff, because ultimately I do it for myself. So I need to make sure to please myself first. But that was a criticism that I had and that I heard, and I listened to that and I analyzed it and I thought, okay, how can I improve on that? You know, in the case of you, if somebody says, oh, you only rap about one thing, or you're only on one subject, or your music is very basic. These, whilst they sound negative, these are, in a way, constructive criticisms that you can use to build yourself as an artist. you always need to think about the position that you're coming from and your overall journey. If you're simply making music just for yourself, then these criticisms are less relevant. If, however, you're trying to build a fan base, then they are very relevant. And you need to always have your, as I said, your overall goal in mind and your reason for doing what you do. And that will help you when taking on criticisms. But ultimately, I think as an artist, you need to be aware of your flaws before anybody else's. Before anybody can say anything to you, you need to know what your weaknesses are, what you should be working on, so that if anybody says something to you, it doesn't come as a surprise. Maybe they might have a slight different perspective on it, but ultimately, if somebody gives you a negative criticism, you should already roughly know that weakness yourself. And more importantly, be ready to work on it and change it. Criticisms are important. They're very important because nobody's perfect. And you should be thick-skinned enough to be able to take those on board and to recognize where you're wrong and where you're not. Because sometimes somebody will give a criticism and they will be wrong. So for instance, criticism, quote-unquote criticism I've had before is, oh, nobody buys CDs, so you should stop selling CDs, or you shouldn't be selling your CDs, you should give them out for free. Now, I've heard that. Nobody buys CDs, right? Now, I know for a fact that people buy CDs because I sell CDs and I sell a lot of my albums on CDs. And in fact, I sell more albums than I do digital downloads. So for me, that's incorrect. It may be correct for other artists, but I listened to that, I analyzed it and thought, well, no, that doesn't apply to me. Having said that though, less people do buy CDs. That is true. So I've listened to that, I've taken that on board, I've thought about it, and I thought, how can I overcome that potential weakness in my musical career? Now, the way that I overcame that was USB wristbands, these right there, because that is still a physical, I don't like using the word product, but item with my music on it, but it alleviates the need for the CD, because you can plug that into your computer, into your car audio. You could still listen to my music. You can still have something physical that you can hold and use and keep as a collector's item, let's call it. But it's not a CD. So I've taken that criticism on board and I've worked on that and I've found a way around it. There are many criticisms, negative, positive opinions that you're going to hear along your journey, because everybody's going to want to give their 2 cents. That's just the way it is. Like I said, it's important to be able to analyze and sift through the words and pick up those little nuggets of knowledge and growth to help yourself. And that's really what it's about. And bearing in mind, you may ask somebody for their opinion. If you've asked somebody for their opinion, then take what they say seriously, even if you don't like what they've said. This is really important because often people will be honest with you once, maybe twice, before they will just stop if you don't value what they say. So if you fly off the handle because somebody says they don't like your music, then they're not going to tell you they don't like your music, and they're not going to tell you why. And the why is very important. You know, like going back to the "your shit" comment. If somebody ever says that to me or has ever said that to me, I don't really hear that anymore, but starting off, when I heard that, my question was why? And the why can be very enlightening. Because this, because that, because whatever, I don't like the sound of your voice. Well, that's my voice, I can't change it. Because I don't like what you rap about. Okay, maybe I can rap about some different stuff. You know, those sort of things. Analyze, use the knowledge, use the information. So yeah, when asking for somebody's opinion, value what they say, you know, give them the respect that they deserve, even if you don't like what they come back with, because then they will be less reluctant to tell you their truthful, honest opinion in the future. And those truthful, honest opinions, and those sorts of people who feel comfortable enough to give you their truthful, honest opinion without fear of your reaction, are so important. Even more important than the people who just love what you do, because those people are going to help you grow. Those people are going to allow you to be able to look at yourself very critically and to learn how to look at yourself very critically, to be able to analyze your music before anybody else has heard it and think, no, that is not good enough. I can improve on it here. I can improve on it here because I know that this is my weakness and I know that I'm not doing this right. So let me work on this. So again, going back to me, my brother is a good example. He once said to me, when you rap fast, it's sometimes difficult to hear what you're saying because it gets muddled. So I didn't like that, because obviously, you know, who likes hearing bad things about themselves? But I listened to that. And so the next time I went in the studio, the next time I was working on my music, I worked very, very hard on making sure the diction of every single word I say, no matter how fast or slow it was clear. And now something that I hear back from people a lot is, oh, I can understand every word you say. And it's surprised, because, you know, we've got a lot of mumble rappers at the moment, but they could understand every single word because I took time to work on my diction, and because I didn't get upset when my brother said something to me and told me some information that maybe I wasn't fully aware of yet. So now I am aware of it, and now I keep a very good eye on it. And this is something I want you to apply to your own careers. And just going back for a second, think about why you ask people for their opinions as well. Sometimes I get other artists asking me to listen to their music, and their music is not what I like, and I really don't know what to say, so I'm just honest, it's not what I listen to, you know. Don't waste your time on people who aren't going to listen to your sorts of music, or whose opinion isn't really going to impact on you too much. You know, if you just want me to tell you, yeah, I like it, I could do that, but often people don't really want an opinion when they ask for it. They don't want you to say, I don't really think this is very well recorded, or I think you could spend more money on your mix, or I don't like the lyrics because of this. They don't really want that. So just bear in mind, when you are asking for opinions, that you're not only not wasting your own time by asking for something superficial and just a pat on the back, and you're also not wasting somebody else's time by asking them to give their honest opinion and then at least not valuing and listening to it. Okay? So I hope that's helped you for today. As always, if you have any questions, if you have any comments or topics you want me to cover in a future video, leave it in the comment section below. Share this with any other aspiring artists you think may benefit from the knowledge. And as always, keep it independent, keep it DIY gang. Peace.